spinning wheel. Oh my gosh, we are live. You know what that means? I get to push the button to something you haven't got the chance to see yet. Are you ready? You ready for the new paranormal video?
Yeah, I'm ready. Oh,
here we go. Hanging. Here we go.
That is awesome.
Right?
That is fantastic.
If that doesn't give people goosebumps, I don't know what
I
will.
love it.
It is awesome. And so that'll be our new intro when we're doing the videos here. I will, I didn't take the time this week to work on running everything through and hooking all the other gizmos and gadgets up, but I have them. We are, for those who are listening or watching, should I say, we are waiting on our guest. We do have a guest tonight, and sometimes we get those technical issues, and we do what we do. As I got my little Superman curl going on, I don't know why.
I like that. That's cute. That's really cute.
It's not intentional. It just does it on its own.
There's a little nursery rhyme, but something about a girl had a curl in the middle of her forehead. When she was good, she was very, very good. But when she was bad, she was, I don't know, like
very, very bad.
Very bad, super bad. I'm trying to get myself comfortable. I actually went and got a new chair. Well, it's not new, but last week, I think it was Saturday, after a Friday night, sitting there 2 hours, I could barely get up. This chair was so uncomfortable.
Okay. And, I hate to cut you off, but the guest is here. And
Yay!
So what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to pull us off so he can see this background behind us. And then when I bring him in, I'm almost 100% sure we're going to get some laughter out of that. Okay, here we go.
I'm ready.
Now. Go figure. I bring up the background and he doesn't even see it.
What happened?
I put that background specifically for you. It's called TMV Cafe Mustard. It's good on everything.
Yeah?
Mustard on a Pop-Tart?
Mustard on a Pop-Tart. It is Friday night party night.
I was going to say, must I remind you, mustard on a Pop-Tart?
Must.
Okay, for those who don't get it, Magic Farmers. Go look it up. Go look it up.
Great. I was telling my husband about that the other day, the Magic Farmers.
Oh, how he came up with the name, or just
what the name kind of means, like what you said, and he said I like my way better. So.
Oh. Okay. No.
Well, I can't argue with that because he uses language I don't use. So.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Well, if he refused to say Magic Farmer and wants to say the other MF words, then that's like a.
No, I just think it's wonderful because you could say, really intentionally mean that, and you just say Magic Farmer and everyone thinks it's cute.
Or you could say he is mystically fast.
Well, Magic Farmer, yeah, it could be mystically fast. I just know I feel a lot more comfortable when I yell that out in church than the other one.
Yeah, I think it would go over just a little bit better. Yeah. Definitely.
I get to sit in the front row now.
Yeah.
You've been healed.
I know normally we would be talking about moon pies. Well, at least that's one of Greg's special features on his show. But Greg, we don't have a moon pie tonight.
If you would have said,
That's
I would
fine.
have gotten
That's
one
my
at the
gig.
store.
I'm on your gig.
Oh no. We have
It's not.
that pie.
Apple pie Kit Kats?
Apple pie.
Oh, awful. At least it's not pumpkin spice.
Here's
Dude.
a popular misconception about the moon pies.
Uh-huh.
I don't know very many people who actually enjoy eating the moon pies.
I do.
See,
As much
okay.
as chugging it.
There you go. They're easy to fling.
Yeah.
You woo the moon pie.
Right.
I want to share it with somebody. Whoo. So,
Yep.
Yeah, you get these little miniature ones.
Oh, but
they just don't have that same heft, though.
Well, if you throw a lot of them at the same time, or just throw the damn full
rapid
box
fire,
at
yeah.
them, you know.
Like those ninja, what's they called?
The stars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of like that, but yeah, no. I was going to say little fun fact. I was at a convention once and bounced a moon pie off the forehead of a minister, and he made a couple phone calls, and now I'm going to go to hell. So I had it.
Well, you should have had the moon pies blessed then. First.
Well, that's what I thought I was doing.
Well, we could call it holy pie.
Holy pie.
In this particular case. Real quick thing. I just got this earlier. It says, if 2020 was a math problem, are you guys ready for this? If you're walking on the ice cream at 5 ounces per toaster and your bicycle loses a sock, how much gravy will you need to repaint your hamster?
True.
That sums it up totally.
2020 in a nutshell. Yeah.
I would just circle true.
What I do want to do is we're going to bring in a video here in just a moment. I'm going to give credit where credit's due because it is from a monkey, not devil monkey. But what we're doing is we're going to be talking about Gettysburg tonight. So I thought, why not take a quick 3 minutes and roughly go through, it'll be a little less, but roughly go through the video so people can understand. Those who might not understand all of Gettysburg or what actually happened, then we can go back to some other evidence that's come up since then. So we're going to put this bad boy full screen for everyone to hear and click the play.
In history, wars are often huge turning points, and within wars, battles often act as turning points that dictate the outcome of those wars. One battle that historians often refer to as the turning point of the Civil War was the Battle of Gettysburg. If the Union had lost this battle, the U.S. might look very different today. Thought Monkey here. Today we'll be reviewing a major battle in the Civil War, the Battle of Gettysburg. It was in spring 1863, when the Civil War was nearing the end of its third year, that the general of the Confederate Army, Robert E. Lee, had just defeated a key Union force twice the size of Lee's. After the battle, Lee rode down to Richmond to speak with the President of the Confederacy, Jefferson Davis, to discuss his plans to invade the North. At the same time, Union President Abraham Lincoln was becoming frustrated by the fact that Lee was making every Union general out to seem incompetent. Lincoln's best general, however, Ulysses S. Grant, was starting the 40-day siege of Vicksburg, which would ultimately shut down the Mississippi River and stop any transportation by it to the south. The question remains, however, who was going to stop Lee, and by June 1863, where was he? In Washington, there were reports of Lee crossing the Potomac River and marching into Northern Territory, preparing to invade southern Pennsylvania. At the same time, another Confederate cavalry was riding into Pennsylvania from the east. When these words reached the north, many began to panic. Many people living in southern Pennsylvania began to flee, and in the small town of Gettysburg, the community waited anxiously. At this point, Lincoln made a change in command and appointed George Meade as the new general of the Union Army on June 27th, and his first day of battle, which would take place in Gettysburg, was just 4 days away. It's rare that a commander of the army has such a short amount of time to prepare. Meade knew something was stirring and wrote to his wife before the battle stating, "Lee has assumed the offensive and is going to strike a blow." By June 30th, both Confederate and Union armies had settled into the positions at Gettysburg. Both armies numbered around 75,000. Over the next 3 brutal days, the armies would clash, making it one of the largest battles ever fought in the Western Hemisphere. Both the Union and Confederate armies suffered great losses over those 3 days, and between 20,000 to 25,000 soldiers were hurt or killed on each side. But it was the Union that would come out victorious. Several months later, Abraham Lincoln traveled to Gettysburg to help make a dedicated national cemetery there. It was there that he stated,
407 years ago, our fathers brought forth from this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal.
He continued to explain his feelings about the war and how he felt that the Civil War was a war to expand freedom and democracy. The bloody Civil War finally came to an end in 1865 when Confederate General Lee was surrounded by the Union Army when trying to resupply. Nearly 1 million people had lost their lives, but it could be argued over 3 million people had gained their right to live their lives in freedom when the Southern slave population was emancipated. Thanks for watching the video, and hit the thumbs up button below if you liked it, and subscribe to stay updated with the latest Thought Monkey video.
Yeah, I let the last little part go in
history.
so you guys could, for those who watch, they can know who it was. So Thought Monkey, all that credit goes to Thought Monkey for his nice little video of the Battle of Gettysburg. However, the Civil War was one of the bloodiest wars of all. I've read books where they've talked about the ground actually literally being painted in blood, which it's scary to say the least. But see, war is never pretty in the first place. You know, they have a lot of deaths, casualties, as you heard, over 1 million casualties in the Civil War alone.
Yeah, it's I live very close to Gettysburg, so we head there all the time, and obviously when we have guests, that's one of the places we like to take them. It's an intense place,
right?
It's for 3 days. It was not only just the carnage as any giant battle has, but just the importance of that one particular battle. Because as they stated, you don't argue with a monkey, as the monkey stated.
The devil monkey, as you've mentioned before, this is something he likes to scream out in in church, mind you.
Well, devil monkeys hate when you go, devil monkey! They hate it. It hurts their ears and they run off. So if you want to be slaughtered by a devil monkey, go ahead, keep quiet. But right. I think that the more and I encourage people, walking through Walmart, just belt it out. You don't know where he is in the middle of church. Devil monkey! Just keep saying it over and over again randomly. They hate it and they will leave you alone. I'll give you an example of how it works. I do it constantly. I'm still here. I've never been attacked by a devil monkey. So apparently it works. But no, I mean, with the Gettysburg gig, as they stated, if the North loses that, the South has an amazing stronghold, comes back down from the North in Pennsylvania, straight down to DC on the backside. Now they can hit them from two sides, two front, and you capture that, and it's done. So it was, and there were so many just easy mistakes that were made. I mean, they were just, it wasn't like a miscalculation or whatever. They were just flat out mistakes, especially on the South.
Right.
If they would have just done this, they would have won that battle in the first day. If they would have just remembered to do that, they would have wrapped that thing up. Yeah. And it was just this really bizarre, powers that be just going.
Yeah. I mean, the whole world, the whole nation would be changed just by that alone. Exactly.
Well, and actually your first statement is right too, then the whole world. Because my son is a Civil War expert. He loves it and has studied it and took courses in college for it. He's a historian. And he'll point out all kinds of scenarios where So if the U.S. was split and the southern states had won their independence, they wouldn't have been their own country. They were fighting for each of them to be their own little country,
Right.
like a Slavic, a wave of countries throughout Europe. Well, not all of them were Virginia, and Texas wasn't Texas yet. So a lot of those states would have gone under relatively easy. So how many would have been absorbed by the state next to them or country next to them?
Yeah.
All of a
you
sudden,
had the Louisiana Purchase too. That I don't think
that all would have been different. And then
Yep.
there was England sitting right on the outside looking in. We weren't that far away from when we won our independence. When you think 1863, that's not even 100 years.
Yeah,
And England was sitting right there, just waiting, and they were actually supporting the South because they knew the South, it would split the nation,
right?
And then the South would be weak, and they could come in and take the South. So they were just sitting there waiting.
A lot of stuff then. Yes, you're absolutely right.
That would have been pretty cool.
It's interesting, as you mentioned, all that, but you know what really blew me away? Even through history, it still blows me away that we hear this, that it actually happened, was that people would sit out on their front porch watching the war, watching the battle happen. And it was like, oh, hey, who needs television? We got it live in action.
A lot of people in 1863 didn't have televisions. You're right. So you had to get, live theater where you could. Though everyone booked ass once the bullets started flying.
Right.
So, and I want to say a disclaimer right off the bat. I know we're only a quarter of the way through the show. This is not something I usually show, so I want to make sure that people realize what they're seeing. I'm not this smart. It's all on Post-it notes for me that I had my people put stuff around. So as I'm speaking, it's like, damn, Greg Hall actually has a little intellectual chops to him. No, I do not.
But you shouldn't have said anything.
Right?
Well, I know you brought me in to talk about Gettysburg, and I've been there, but I'll be honest, they got this awesome ice cream store. And that's really all I know.
Which one is that?
It's the ice cream.
No, I know there's a couple.
Killian's is gone now, though. They just shut it down.
Really? See, I haven't been up there in a couple years.
Oh,
it was Sunset.
Sunset's all right, but Killian is,
Aww.
see, now I can be intellectual. I'm talking ice cream, but all the rest of the stuff, Post-it notes. I got them all over the place.
Yeah, well, we call it something else because instead of saying sunset, I said sun something else, and it just hey, slip of the tongue.
Are we back to the MF thing again?
Yeah.
Well, something like that.
So, any intellectual stuff you hear coming out of this mouth tonight, don't be fooled. I'm not that guy. I have help.
Well, let me make a note for those who don't understand. I mean, I know it's going across the bottom, but real quick, want to promote it that Mr. Hall here is the author of a book called The Legend of Ugly Joe, with some amazing artwork. If you haven't seen the artwork, you can see it here on the cover. I mean, look at that. This is so.
Well, here's what happens with that. Just a quick side note. This is what happens when you're broke ass broke. and an artist, you want an artist for your book, and they tell you, well, that's only like $700. I can do that for you, and you go,
right,
and you break out your own crayons and go, well, I can draw something. So that's and then if you happen to know the writer, if the guy who's putting the book together happens to know the writer who works with the crayon artist, you can say, well, what if you just had your serial killer leave crayon drawings at every scene of the crime? You work into the story, then it makes sense.
Yeah. There's actual pictures in the book, so if you haven't seen it or gotten it, you got to go.
One awesome parrot.
And an awesome parrot.
Thank you. Hashtag praise the parrot.
And we can't forget the volleyball scene.
Yeah, it's if you look up in the corner, it's not. I say probably to be humble, but I'm not that humble. It is the best crayon drawn parrot ever in the history of crayons.
Ever.
Yeah, it's right in the book. So But can I say this real quick before because we got to get back to Gettysburg. There's so much to talk about there. And I got, like I said, tons of Post-it notes they left me. And if I don't talk about them, they're going to write me Post-it notes again. You say, you didn't even bring up this. Feral pigs. We got to remember, you, Annie, you're in charge of that. Somewhere, if I start.
The feral pigs?
Go feral pigs. This is one of the coolest stories that very few people know about Gettysburg.
Oh, I know the story.
Yes. Isn't it awesome?
I actually do.
But
I've spent so much time up there.
Oh, it's
is it just because there's wild?
Well, you'll find out.
You'll find out shortly. I will tell you.
But I do want to say real quick, as far as the Funky Wear Pig show on YouTube, we do this thing once a month, and we just announced it yesterday. I don't even know what day it is, but once a month on a Thursday. I don't know when that Thursday will be, but it happened to be whenever it was this week. We give away piggy prizes.
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah. So just it's our way to say how much we love the fans and give something back. And, these are kind of crappy times. So if you get to walk to your mailbox and you get a box of groovy stuff, you go, yay, the day is not so bad. So it's just something we do to kind of have fun and give stuff back. But in this particular piggy prize that's going out to a lucky winner, you have to enter this little contest to win. But there's a video that shows you what to do. I actually autograph a copy of The Legend of Ugly Joe.
Cool.
That's in the box, and you get it. And if you when you win, we're still looking for the winner. You got to answer these questions and stuff. So we haven't got a winner yet, but I autograph the book for you, and I'm a really good speller, so I will sign any name you want. Yeah.
So the question's 3.
There's 3 questions. Yeah. You basically go back to our first premiere episode, and you go through that episode, and you have to find 3 different questions or answers to questions that I asked.
Oh.
But the main thing is, like I said, if you've always wanted an autograph from Stephen King, I can spell Stephen King. I'll write it right in the inside of Ugly Joe. Send it to you. If you want Abraham Lincoln, I can spell Abraham Lincoln. I'll write that inside the book and send it to you. Whatever autograph you want, you get. So just my way of giving some love.
I could imagine seeing a George Takei autograph in there too, with a little "oh my."
If you win EW, you got some George Takei love coming your way.
Ooh.
Well,
that's just what we do.
As we were mentioning Gettysburg, there has been evidence of things that have come out that Pam is in the chat room, and she says she wants an autograph copy from Greg.
Enter the contest. Go to Funky Wear Pig on YouTube, Pam. Put your damn coffee down and enter.
That's it.
Get on that horse.
I stumbled across a video, actually was sent to me. I watched it a few times, and I was just like in awe for a moment. And then I had to stop and think, okay, so supposedly this video was filmed while someone's driving. Photoshop can be done after. So this would mean for me to actually put this through some of the programs, I would have to really break it down. But I didn't want to do that because I wanted people's opinions from it tonight. So normally I would blow this up on the full screen for everyone, but I want people to see our reactions as well. So let me add this to the stream. I'm gonna put myself up here, so you guys are. I'm not. There's no need for volume in this, but
unless you want to hear somebody screaming.
Yeah, no. If you can see the cannons right where my mouse is circling, might be kind of small for some of us, but yeah, watch that area. That's all I'm going to tell you. Just watch that area. Now, they're going to slow it down for you. What do you think?
Wow.
So, I mean, yeah, this is footage that's out there. It's some guy caught it while driving at nighttime. Now, my quick first opinion, if you watch one particular spot, it almost looks like there's something on the window rather than something outside, because you get the little blur that follows like as they're turning. Light reflections can actually do that. So don't get me wrong, as the debunking side, I'm not the snarky skeptic, but this is just one of those incidences where you see something and you're like, it's a little fishy.
I always go skeptic first, just because I think anything that's scary is far more frightening once you go skeptic first and go, nope, no. And then, once you disprove the skeptic, then it becomes, hoodoo voodoo. Because if you go in going, I believe it, then then you don't. Then you're like me with my wife when she says, go down and do the laundry, go get some laundry done. And I just go, it's scary down there. I think there's ghosts. I saw one.
No,
so I'm exempt from laundry. But I would point out these things with that. The first question I always ask, having been behind a few cameras and doing a few projects myself over the years, I always ask, why would you have your camera at that point while you're driving?
Good question.
I always had mine ready.
Really? I mean, it's possible. In Gettysburg, there's a lot of paranormal investigators.
I took lots of pictures. I wish I can find some, because and I'm sure they're up in the attic. I have got some fantastic pictures with how they have the signs?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that the one that says turn left?
No.
Oh.
No.
Ghost ahead.
They have signs, yeah. 2 spots to the right. Display signs that give a little blurb of history about that particular area.
The historical maps and the breakdown of the history. Yep.
My husband got me this camera, and it had night vision, and of course he got it for my birthday, and I was just like click, 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 all over the place. But I have got some fantastic pictures. It just looks like there's this mist that goes almost across it. I have gotten some really good pictures of Little Round Top.
Yeah.
And other places. My dad took us up, my sister and I, up there when we were real small. I always loved the place. So my girlfriend and I, to get away from our husbands and kids, would go up basically, I think, like the day after Thanksgiving, because we were off that Friday, blah blah blah. So we'd go up there, and something really interesting, weird, creepy happened, and she wouldn't go with me anymore. And so I would go up all the time by myself. When my ex and I split up, I spent a lot of weekends up there. My father would say, "Are you crazy?" It's like, "Dad, you only have to worry about the living, because those dead guys ain't going to bother you." So, I would go up there, and I'd be driving through the battlefield, not late. I mean, they close early now, I think. But I'd always kind of wait for the full moon, or I would take off in it and go up when there was a full moon. But I would be driving along, and it's very curvy, as you know, through the battlefield. Thinking, what the hell are you doing, woman? Just, you got to be crazy. But
were you taking pictures while you were driving?
No, I would stop and get out of the car.
See, that's the problem I have with this one. Is this guy just happens to be filming while you're driving?
Unless someone else was filming.
Could be.
Or it could be one of those dash cam things.
Well, I thought the same thing, because I had one in my car, and I've seen the angles of those. Usually you're pretty much having it straight on. But even if you paid attention, this vehicle turns, and
but it could possibly be a turn like where the car, the path is.
It could be. I'm just saying that's one of the first questions I ask. Anybody that I've seen that's done paranormal investigating out of there, you don't really do it while you're driving. You get out and you walk around the battlefields. You go around the monuments. You go on to the whatever. The only other thing that really struck me about this is there were some itty bitty ghosts, because they walk by the cannon. The cannons aren't that big. The cannons come up to about your arm.
Yeah, and you can kind of
these guys are like,
head right.
They can't even see over the cannon. So they were little itty bitty soldiers, which is possible too. Soldiers come in all sizes. But you would think that somebody that's low to the ground, a lot of the shots would go right over their head. They wouldn't have died.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't know. I've seen a lot of scary stuff at Gettysburg, and you know as well as I do, Annie. So many paranormal investigators go up there. I don't know if I'm sold that much on that video. I've seen. I'll just say I've seen others that are far more impressive. Probably even in your collection. There's some of the pictures you've gotten. Are far more. That one I just.
I mean, we've had experiences up there a lot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's a scary freaking place. It's I'm not one who runs into very many things paranormal wise. My friend Maggie Renee met me up there one time to do some paranormal researching, and because she didn't trust me, she had the spirit box and the infrared cameras and everything, and she handed me a pinwheel and a Pokemon Pokedex that I think she stole from Walmart. And that's all I got to investigate with her. I'm just saying, she's got a bad side to her. That girl's a bad girl.
Oh, honey, I've known her for over 20 years.
I have too, and she's a bad girl. If it comes to ghost equipment for Greg Hall, she will swipe a Pokemon Pokedex.
Wow. Well, speaking of paranormal, I do want to promote this coming up. If you guys remember, one of our regular guests as well as David Childers, and they've got an event coming up next weekend, Friday and Saturday, October 23rd and 24th, starting at 6:30. They will have it as $25 cash, and there is limited tickets. Yeah. This is the Southern Paranormal Investigations Ghost of Coatsworth. There might be some goats involved. Who knows? Ghost of Coatsworth. So there'll be actually.
Where is it?
It's
state. Oh, but.
Good question.
I'm just curious. It's like that's a great price.
We would have to look it up, but there is an email that you can contact somebody to find out and get your reservations. It's in Joe Noakes 0128@yahoo.com. And it'd probably be easier for us to look up Coatsworth Cultural and Heritage Center, because that's who's sponsoring the event. So yeah. Sorry, there was probably Mississippi, though, if you think about it, because he is from Mississippi. So,
and who's that again?
David Childers. Now, David Childers, if anyone doesn't quite remember, he's been on tons of programs doing investigations and so forth. So this guy is not unfamiliar when it comes to the haunted stuff. But yeah. I do have another one for you guys, another video for you to check out. We'll do the same thing. We'll push everyone off to the side here, and so we can get our facial reactions. Now, you were talking about seeing things different than that first video, okay? Let's see what you guys think of this one, because I honestly believe this one might give you a little more sight of something. So here we go. And of course, I'm going to ask the typical question: why is it anytime somebody gets a video of something, it's always blurry? I don't know if you can see it around that tree.
Mm-hmm.
Now that technically, some of those would be technically full body. Oops. Yep. No. Stop. Some of those would technically be full body apparitions because you actually saw one full. That there, my friends, I would kind of lean towards the actual, photoshopping and stuff, because one of those was a little too well detailed.
I was confused in the beginning because it looked like there was one off to the left that I wasn't like stepped out from behind the tree, but then it looked like it was kind of doing like a Richard Simmons workout. So,
right?
Not saying that didn't happen there. You got to stretch, you got to be limber. It's a battle. I agree with you. A little too well detailed. I mean, I always feel with the paranormal, if you catch that and you actually have video evidence like that, you're putting it up on YouTube just to get hits. Oh no. You catch that baby in. I mean, that's major. You get a full body apparition just strutting across the street and other soldiers following. But I will tell you, if there's any place that you could probably capture that, if that's real, it's Gettysburg. I mean, it's thick. It is thick.
And that is what I was going to talk to you about, because I want to say last time we talked about it, we were, it was on the radio, and we were talking about a tunnel or something like that.
There, where Devil's Den is, there.
She's at
the bunch of rocks. They do have a tunnel, and my husband and we got married up there, and
of all the places to get married at, that's the one I just have to. Why? Yeah, that's
why? I mean, no, why not? I mean, because we both love it so much. That's my favorite place on earth. Screw Disney World. Just take me up 45 minutes, my driving to Gettysburg. But there is he crawled through it. He was much skinnier back then. Yeah, there's a tunnel. Yeah, he crawled through it.
I've seen I think when we talked about it that day, when we were talking about the tunnel and all that, I pulled up the pictures and was looking at it then, and yeah, that was. I don't know what the scary part of it's supposed to be, but
I don't know. It's supposed to have something to do with Indians, and I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that actually predates the battle.
Yes, it does.
It was called Devil's Den long before that, and it's just this really. It's cool, but it's freaky. I mean, wouldn't you agree, Annie, that out of nowhere else in Gettysburg, there's just these gigantic boulders
everywhere. Yeah,
and they're just in this one section. And they're all just randomly piled on top of each other, so you can crawl down in between them. They're big enough that a human being can go down between them. But they're just in that one section, and then you can go everywhere else, and it's just farmland or whatever. But in this one section by this creek, it's just massive boulders, like somebody was going to build a Stonehenge there, and just went. I got other things to do, and they left. So they just left. Yeah. So that's a really cool place. That's it's actually near, and this is what Annie I wanted Annie to back me up on. One of the coolest scary stories about Gettysburg. I mean, war is scary enough, and all the people that got blown away, and the hand-to-hand battle because they did the bayonets and stuff. Right. So it was a whole different type of warfare. There's one of the battles took place on this place called the wheat field, and the wheat field literally was just that. It was a wheat field, but it was there were woods over here and woods over here, and the wheat field was in the middle. So the South was in one part of the woods, North was in the other, and they take turns running out into the wheat field to take control of that territory. So the South would take it for a while, then more North would come in, and they'd meet in the middle of this field. The carnage was unbelievable, and as the battle moved on, they didn't have time to go get the dead that were obviously killed in the middle of the wheat field, or the injured. If you were injured, they just kind of left you there because they were still fighting. They had to move on, retreat, run that way, this way. And actually, I think they do wind up at Devil's Den from there.
Well, let me say, if I would rather be dead than alive and wounded.
Yeah, especially with what happens. So at nightfall, back in those days of warfare, when it became night, just out of a code of honor, you go back to your camp, I go back to my camp, and I'll meet you in the morning with my guns again. But everyone just kind of had this rule, hands off once it becomes nighttime. Well, they weren't going back into any of the battlefields. What they didn't know was the people that were laying there wounded in the middle of the wheat field without medics or anybody coming to get them. Gettysburg was filled with feral pigs.
Well, not only the feral pigs, there was farms around there, and they had those split rail fences.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I'm sure they weren't very careful in knocking them over. And but it's
a lot of people didn't get eaten by split rail fences, though.
No, so I'm saying that they knocked over the fences and the pigs got out. But being all these woods, definitely they were feral pigs.
Oh yeah, and they weren't really. They didn't care whether their food was screaming or not.
No,
it was feeding time. So a lot of those dudes.
Some of these guys just got eaten alive by these pigs.
Yeah.
Pretty scary actually stuff. Best comment yet. Down over yonder.
Feral werepigs. That's
I saw that.
That's special to Sarah. Sarah, you get a very special roink, baby.
And then you get this other thing, of course, where you and I live, how it gets in the summertime. And those poor guys laying out there, and I can't imagine
how does it get in the summertime.
Well, it was July. Remember, the battle was July 1st, 2nd, and 3rd.
Yeah, it
was summertime, and these guys are laying out there, and
they're all wearing heavy uniforms that didn't exactly breathe.
Right. No.
And they it is like a lot of parts in the country, it becomes grotesquely humid. It may not be
hot, we have pretty bad humidity.
It's like you're walking through a sauna. So imagine just laying there
like this past summer.
Yeah. And you there's no escape, and you're just, and then here's another little fun trivia. It's not really, it's more of a curse than a haunting. One of the advantages the North had over the South, they won't teach you this in school, kiddies. One of the advantages the North had over the South was the South had to travel all the way up, of course, from Virginia and everything, and then loop back around the mountains and then come back down. The North already knew the territory. So the South, on the way up, they were hungry and they had to keep marching. Well, there's tons and tons and tons of cherry trees. And so while they were walking, they would pick the cherries and eat the cherries on the way up to the battle, just to keep their stamina going and at least get something. And after you eat a certain amount of cherries, it causes explosive diarrhea. So many of these Southern soldiers, once they got to the battle, were incapacitated, or at least, at the very least, uncomfortable.
Literally had it scared out of them.
Yeah. So the battle's starting, and they're going, I'll be right back.
Hold that shot for a moment.
So in some ways, the cherries were a secret weapon for the North.
Yeah. Well, here's an interesting location we've talked about in the past, but I had to bring it up since we're kind of doing it, getting the video parts going on. The triangular field.
Hang on. Just keep talking.
Oh, okay.
Let me find my...
She's
hang on a second.
Cherries.
Yep.
Yeah, apparently.
An arm's going to reach into your screen, and an arm's going to reach into my screen with just a bowl of cherries.
Oh, well, I'm just going to have to put these back up. Hang on a minute. Oh, shoot.
Yeah. Can I say a quick side note here with the triangular field? This is actually kind of sad because the triangular field, that back part, was actually all wooded. So you could see where it became a triangle.
Right.
And they mowed all that down. So it's not, and now it's just kind of like a straight ahead field.
Yeah, they've got, as you can see, some additional looks into the rocks and stuff, but that's kind of probably before it does say before they started clearing.
Yeah, that's what it used to look like. Yeah.
Well, this is my picture. Let me see if I can get this up here. Can you see it? It's taken at night, of course, with my wonderful night camera. There used to be a gate there, but evidently the gate's gone now.
Yeah.
See, there was a gate. I don't know how I could do that. Woo! No.
Now that's real. I've seen that.
Right.
That wasn't photoshopped.
No, that's real. I've got some fantastic pictures. I've got to find them.
Yeah. Well, this particular location, though, if you remember, Annie, we were talking about different the other triangles other than the Bermuda Triangle.
Right.
This particular one is supposed to have some really creepy history from it. What a lot of people don't know is it was said that they'd actually had a whole regiment walking up through there and just mysteriously disappeared.
Yeah.
I've seen that footage. That was at the triangular field?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Now, I've been there like a gazillion times, and I've never gotten anything. I've never gotten anything on the cameras from that particular area. Nothing on the recorder.
Isn't that also where things go dead, though? Any electronics?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I think I remember hearing about that.
Mm-hmm.
Again,
I think this is the reason
wheel doesn't plug in, so I just kept staying there with Maggie.
Well, I think this is the only reason you get a distant shot rather than somebody taking photos.
Yeah, because it goes for it's quite a ways back.
Now,
the tree line and stuff like that.
Right. Now, I would love to go to the science site and check something, which I didn't think about until just now. But what about ley lines? What kind of ley lines are under there? Because think about it. We've actually seen situations where ley lines have put out enough magnetic forces to actually draw power.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
At least the what kind of rock bed is underneath.
True. That's another.
Ley lines, you could have certain layers of rocks that equally magnetism just suck it out of there. But you hear stories about it all the time. People's recorders go dead. Their phones go dead.
Fresh batteries go.
Yep.
Yes.
It's a cool place.
It would be one that if I do ever get the chance to get up there, I want to see that.
You got to get up here. I'm telling you. I'm going to kidnap you and Miss Stella.
Annie, did he say if?
I said
you're going to say when you get up here.
I said if because of COVID quarantine, okay?
Well, look, I haven't gone up there
either. Forever.
And I want to go. I mean,
I can make some bad comments and piss off a lot of people right now.
You're a young dude. You're a young dude. Even if COVID lasts 20 years, you'll be what? 40. Come on up.
Yeah. I'm not gonna hit those comments. But yes, we there's been a lot of things there. Now, and the reason I wanted Greg and Eddie in this particular one is you guys have firsthand experience being there. So either one of you want to go first. Tell us what you experienced.
Go ahead, Greg, and I'll tell you. You tell, and I'll tell.
Okay, I like again. I'm not a really good hoodoo voodoo receptor. I seem to haunt other people. So
you can haunt me anytime.
Yeah. I have to deal with the bruises every day because I get him. Mm-hmm.
But I will tell you one freaky thing happened to me, and I'll lean on your expertise for you guys to tell me if I saw what I think I saw because I've never seen one before. There's a lot of the old buildings there, which were the original buildings. They redo for different things. There might be an antique shop or a bookstore or, things like that, but it's still the original building. It's kind of cool. One of them in particular, right next to the Farnsworth house, right on that same main strip.
Right, I know exactly what you're talking about.
They make a like a museum, walking tour just through the inside of the house so you can see what they used to look like. But on Halloween, they used to actually turn it into a very cool haunted house that you could walk through. And it wasn't like a haunted house where people jumped out and went, it was more of a like a display. So you could walk through the hallways, and in this display would be like the Blue Boy, which is one of the legends.
Yeah.
Another one would be the wheat field with the feral pigs. So it was all just animatronics and paper mache things or whatever. I was walking through with a buddy of mine and my sons, Boy Child 1 and Boy Child 2. And I was ahead of the group a little bit, walking like a cocky John Wayne guy. That's cool. Yeah, I know that one. Yeah, that's cool. And they're still walking behind me. And my buddy was trying to get EVP recordings going through. So I walked ahead and I turned the corner to go down a hallway down to the next section. And this figure was in the hallway, taller than I am. I used to be 6'2", but I just got a thing, and the lady told me I'm 6 foot now. But when I was 6'2",
he took his shoes off.
I must have done something. My posture is horrible. I'm going to change that right now. So when I was 6'2", it was bigger than me. It was taller than me, and it was all black in a dark hallway. But it was so black it stood out in the dark hallway. I could see it, and it was a big son of a gun, and it immediately scared the hell out of me. I froze. It stopped for a second. It kind of like elongated, and then went up through where the roof was and was gone.
Whoa.
You're saying this is that haunted house that you visited, or
yeah, but it's one of the original buildings.
Okay.
So, but
During
they
the battle.
didn't put anything in there. We went back years later, and it was like a toy store and a shop and whatever. But here's the coolest part. So I freaked out, turned around and ran back, grabbed my friend, and pushed my friend down the hall in front of me. Because I love my children. My friend he's disposable.
I'm glad I wasn't there.
But I saw this thing, and I assume it's like a shadow person,
right,
or something. I mean, that's what I would guess from all those things I've watched on TV.
Yeah.
But I'd never seen one before. I know it was a dark hallway. It was before you got to the next display, but it was darker than the dark hallway, and you could make it out, and it was a figure. It was a human figure.
Right.
Did it have a hat? I'm just asking because I just shadow.
No, it did have a mini skirt. I don't know if that counts. No, it didn't. But it was and again, you couldn't see any features. It was just like a silhouette. But I would gather it looked male because it was broader in the shoulders and bigger or whatever. Like I said, it was taller than I was, and then it just, like I said, I just immediately felt fear. Like how they say fight or flight. I was flighting.
Okay.
I understand the flight part.
So that was pretty damn frightening. And then when we had to go there to get out, though, we had to go around to get out.
Was it anything like this?
It was more angular. That's kind of rounded. It was kind of like squared off at the shoulders, and the head was kind of angular, like boxy.
Right.
But that whole hallway would have been dark, and that would have shown up
the only reason
of the dark hallway.
Yeah, the only reason you're seeing that is because it was a flash image, but that's the actual shadow person that was in the last house I lived in.
I remember you telling me about that. I hope it wasn't that dude.
No, it's well, actually, if you looked at the picture, there's a second one. There's actually two. There's one off on the refrigerator, which would be no reason to have one there.
Right.
But yeah, so no, but I brought that up not because of me, but more to ask if that's kind of what you saw.
Yeah, kind of. It was kind of like that, but he was more angular, rigid looking. But
Right.
here's the really fun thing with this. So I wouldn't go in that building for a while. That scared the hell out of me. And even walking down that hallway to get to the eventual exit, we were like running like Scooby-Doo, the whole Scooby-Doo gang, just everybody on top of each other, like just running, one guy's legs and everybody on top, just to get the hell out. Years later, we go and they've turned into this, like I said, a toy store where you can buy a Confederate jacket and a Union hat and a pop gun or whatever. And oddly enough, my son, boy child 2, and I, we were like, well, while we're here and it's all well lit, let's go back into that section because it's still the same house.
Right.
And see if we can find that dude again. They sealed it up. That section of the hallway is closed off. So we went around the other way and that side's closed off. You can't get to that section where I saw that dude again.
Wow.
They have wooden walls up, plywood kind of thing. So maybe they know something I don't know, but that was, I don't usually experience things like that. Like I said, I'm usually the one who scare people for people for the rest of their lives. And
right.
That was, I don't know what I saw, but I know I didn't like it. And that was in Gettysburg. So
yep.
Wow. Enlarge, please. I don't have that set up to be enlarged right now, Evie, but maybe the next episode I'll make it big for you just so you guys can see it again. Especially since we've got about 3 minutes left in the show.
No. Annie's got like 100 stories. You got to let her go.
Okay, I'll do the quick version. Okay, this is the reason my friend Monica would never go back. It was the end of May, and we had gone shopping. I had gotten The Ghosts of Gettysburg from Mark Nesbitt, a book that I was missing, somehow disappeared. So anyway, the sun is going down over, Little Round Top. It's beautiful when the sun goes down. Have you ever seen it, Greg? It's just breathtaking. Okay, so we're up there and we keep hearing drums, like, drum, drum. And looking down in the valley where by Devil's Den, we just keep seeing these flashes. And I'm thinking, gosh, this is too early for fireflies. So anyway, we're all there by ourselves. The people that were around us with little kids, they had left. And I'm standing there and she's standing to my left. And we're just looking. And all of a sudden, there was this guy there on my right. And I think she said, to the guy, have you seen any weird things or heard anything? And the guy said, and it was really deadpan. I mean, it sounded dead, like no, was it monotone? I don't know. You see and hear a lot of strange things up here. Next thing I know, she's grabbing me by the arm and running. I said, what is your problem? She says, I looked at his face and he had no eyes. And that was it. She never went back.
And the dude was you were just standing up there.
I don't know where he came from because we were the only ones there, but all of a sudden he was standing there. I just thought, that was kind of weird, but she said he had no eyes.
And you go
but
back.
It was a really weird voice. I mean, it kind of creeped me out. It was so deadpan, but I guess that's the word.
See, here's the dealio. I saw something weird, kind of thing, but I drink a lot of Zima, so that happens. Not just
we weren't drinking.
But I do. Lots and lots of Zima. So when I see things, I go, that makes sense. You investigate this stuff. You're a pro at this. So when you are looking for things and you find them like that, the kahunas, just to go back again and say I want more.
I know. I did actually go back the following year, tried to duplicate it at the same time, nothing. Now, after Tom and I got married, we moved to Greencastle. So we're in there, and it's May. I love May up in Gettysburg. And it was a really warm night. But we were on Little Round Top, very close to where Chamberlain was. and I got so cold to my core. And I knew that was a cold spot. But everything else was really a kind of warm night. I was like shorts, t-shirt, but all of a sudden it got so cold. I was freezing.
And what does, I mean, I know that they always say you can feel a cold spot. You know, they I guess it's like they come off of any energy they can, which includes heat. So they would suck the heat away to give themselves energy.
Yeah, it wasn't like, okay, you've seen the movie The Haunting, and he goes, and you see the breath. It wasn't like that. It was like inside. I was just got so cold. In
a concentrated spot. It just,
yeah.
So you could go over there and still be warm, but in that spot.
Yeah, and I was just standing there. It just happened.
Probably a great.
I didn't walk into anything. I was just standing.
Yeah, probably a great place to go for EVPs or something, because you'd more than likely pick something up. Most of the time, though, you know, you also have to check, you know, airflow, ducts and stuff, because we went into one particular location. It was abandoned building that they were getting ready to make into something huge. And if you've ever seen those big pipes that they run through, and then they just have the ducts dangling, and it's the AC blowing through. A lot of people don't realize that they do set it on a small setting at nighttime to keep an average temperature inside the building, because if it gets too humid or whatever, there's certain construction failures that can happen, such as in the sheetrock and so forth. So that's, you know, a lot of people have actually stood right under that and never even realized that. They're like, oh my God, this is a cold spot. And yeah, you test everything and you're absolutely right. That is a cold spot. But it's, you know, being in the construction field, I've learned too many things to go straight to a debunk, you know, especially like EMF fields. Oh my gosh. EMF fields can throw people off so bad. And a lot of people get the very first reactions. If you are allergic to that, you will know it because you get that feeling somebody's behind you. You get that eerie feeling like, you know, somebody's there, and you start to kind of feel a little creeped out. And what it's doing is it's messing with you. It's because it's these electronic magnetic fields that are just going through, and it messes with you. So a lot of times a proper team, when they walk in, the very, very first thing they're checking is EMF fields. Actually, the picture that I showed was my house where we used to live. And the best team that came in, no offense to TAPS, was a non-TAPS team. And that was the very first thing they did before they agreed to do anything. They wanted to look around, hear the stories, and they were walking around with their meters to try to catch how much EMF readings they could pick up. And thank God there was none. Even right next to the power box. It wasn't enough to, you know, throw people into, you know, delirium or anything like that. So you always do, you know, as Evie says, EMF sweeps. You have to. So can you get that in a field like Gettysburg? No, I mean, they would have to be running power lines underneath or heavy power lines up above, which you would see.
Which they don't have.
Exactly. So I went
very old-fashioned town.
Yeah, I would discredit EMF fields in that area. Now, if you're picking up something, you better be checking, because I couldn't even tell you where that would be coming from. Now, graveyards. We do know that people frequent graveyards expecting to get EVPs. The only reason I bring this up is if you've ever watched the movie Remember the Titans, it was about a football team. Yeah, okay. They actually visited Gettysburg Cemetery. And in the behind the scenes, some of the guys were actually talking about how heavy they felt and how like things were kind of holding them back or something. And then there was this utter sadness upon them. Guys had never been there in their life, and they felt all this while they were there.
Yeah, but at the same time, you don't have to be a psychic to pick up a sad vibe. Everyone's heard of Gettysburg, and you're in the middle of a graveyard.
Yeah,
there should be some sadness.
Well, I mean, every time I go to take my wife to go to her family graveside, we drive by and we see this one headstone with both of our names on it. So, I mean, I don't know if I get sad or not, but
That's
the look on his face was priceless.
No, I just, like I said, I always try to go in as skeptical as possible and then chip me away from there.
Right.
I always love when on TV when a psychic medium goes into like the Lizzie Borden house and goes, "I'm picking up violence. There was a murder here." You're in the Lizzie Borden house.
Like, duh.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'm glad you got that.
Yeah. Well, did you hear about that psychic that recently got fired? No. She didn't see it coming.
Check, please. We're done here.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I know we went over. We had to hear the stories and tell a little bit more. Greg, I got to thank you for joining us tonight.
We can't go. Who comes on after you?
Nobody.
Well, then.
I want to hear more from Annie's. Annie has pictures and stories at the Yin Yang. I got one freaky shadow dude, and I'm that was that.
Look, I will say I've never been to Gettysburg.
We're coming up on Halloween. Come on.
Okay, I've never been to Gettysburg, but I will tell you, I am in a town that did have a battle that unfortunately was lost. I mean, think about it. Davy Crockett. Do I need to keep going? Did it remind anyone? Remember
Gordon? No.
Alamo that doesn't have a basement.
Oh, that's right, from that Pee-wee documentary.
See, there you go.
Yeah. Well, I've actually been and visited the Alamo quite a few times, but one of the coolest things I've ever gotten is talking to a police officer. He had responded at nighttime to a hotel that's across the street from the, literally. So like if you're looking at the doors of the Alamo, it's just a little bit off to the right. And I'll bring up a picture so you can see it. But it is, it's called the Davy Crockett Hotel. Cops have been called out to the Alamo because they've seen a shadowy image leaving the front doors of the Alamo, walking across the street and going into the hotel. They respond, they come busting in to catch this person. And of course, this poor guy at the front desk is freaking out thinking he's about to get raided. And he's like, "Can I help you?" And they tell him right off the bat, "Oh, we're looking for somebody who just came in." He said, "Nobody's come in, And this is not one report. This is several reports from officers in that area. So yeah, you get some interesting stories. Would I tell you don't feel anything or see anything? No. There's people who've actually talked about taking photos and actually getting images in the background of things they didn't know would be there or shouldn't have shown up in the first place. So yeah, it's one of those situations. Here we go. Let's see if we can make this one bigger for you.
You know what would be really frightening more than anything is if the Davy Crockett Hotel was there actually before the Battle of the Alamo. How did they know? How did they know to put it there?
Actually, there is a hotel that was there during the battle. It's called.
Was it called the Davy Crockett Hotel? It was already named after him? No,
this one was called the Manger Hotel.
Well, I don't know.
And actually, some of the people from the Civil War went through it. So yeah, it's one of those situations. I don't know. Here we go. So here's the Alamo, and of course, I'm just using the one where you can see the shadowy guy. They reports were that they came out of the door and went over here, and just on this side is where the hotel is, one of the hotels. The Manger is still going the same direction as well. But this gives you an idea of you're looking right at it. Now, this isn't a current picture of the Alamo, to be honest with you, because the current picture of the Alamo looks more like this. What a small picture. Yeah, okay. Anyway, Yeah, but there's let's see, let's pull up the Manger for you. The Manger Hotel. This is literally right beside it. And the Manger Hotel actually has haunted stories in it as well.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Oh, it is an amazing hotel. I've actually stood in this hallway and looked up. The story is at the very top row up here that you can actually stand at the bottom and take a picture up, and on occasions you get the picture of a lady in white, which is a story of somebody haunting a hotel. There's been reports of other hauntings within the hotel itself. Let's see if we can get you some other. So this would be a look down during Christmas.
Oh, that's pretty.
Right? But yes, believe it or not. Oh, that's not old enough. Inside, you can actually see pictures of the Manger back before it was even. I'm trying to get a good one for you guys. When it was all horse-drawn carriages and stuff. Yeah, that's not going to help. Anyway, so it is a very old hotel. And so if you're looking dead on at the hotel, off to the left is the Alamo, and you could literally walk to it. One of the coolest features about this, let's get to that. There we go. One of the coolest features about it, when you go into the Manger, right immediately, right off to the left, is nice little history of the Alamo and stuff. And they actually have a model put out of way it would have looked during the actual battle. And what a lot of people don't realize is the San Antonio River did not run where it is now. It's been moved since then.
I have a novice question to ask the experts.
Okay.
Oh, everybody seems to have a lady in white. Why don't they come in different colors?
I always thought the same thing.
If it was in my area, like if you were in my neck of the woods, we would have like the lady in plaid.
Buffalo plaid.
The lady in spandex.
I don't. Oh no! See, that would have just turned everyone away.
It's scary. It's scary.
I see it every time I go to Walmart. It's very scary.
Yeah. So why is just because they show up better in the dark? You don't see the lady in black because you walk right by her.
I think the story of that literally comes from the original theory that a ghost is a white ghost, but yet now we're running into shadow people. We're seeing different images like what we saw at the beginning of the show. So you're going to see a lot of different things now. But I think the average report of the lady in white actually follows the theory of she's killed a loved one or something, and so she becomes the lady in white, kind of like the La Llorona. In a lot of reports, La Llorona is a lady in white because she murdered her 2 children.
That was my favorite Knack song.
Yeah, have you watched the movie?
Yes.
It was a good movie.
Doesn't the Spangler Spring, doesn't that have a lady in white?
Supposedly.
Yeah, in Gettysburg. There's a natural spring that it was pretty cool. During that quiet time at nighttime that we were talking about, both the Union and the Confederate would send people over to get the water, and it was like a truce time, so you didn't fight around the fountain. And supposedly both sides got scared poopless. I said poopless. I'm getting better.
He did.
Well, they didn't have cherries at the time.
Yeah, exactly. Because there was, and this existed before the battle too. It was like the Devil's Den thing. And this lady in white at Spangler Spring came out and scared the crap out of them. So, yeah, there's in fact, that's where I think that's where Maggie and I were investigating. I think I contacted it through my pinwheel.
All right, let's see. A lady in white, or a white lady, is a type of female ghost typically dressed in a white dress or similar garment, reportedly seen in rural areas and associated with local legends and tragedy. See, there's the part I was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
The white lady legends are found in many countries around the world.
Just for giggles, pull up Lady in Plaid, see if there is one.
Okay.
It'll say Pennsylvania.
A lot of dress that way.
What are you gonna do? We tried.
Yeah. Okay. This is now getting interesting. Dick's Sporting Good promotes Brooks Women's Ghost 12 flannel running shoes.
Running shoes for the ghosts or the people that see there?
For the people. I'm not finding anything. Let's see. Ghost 12. Yeah. See, you bring up anything woman in plaid, ghost. Yeah, it goes straight to shoes.
Yeah. I want to hear more Annie Gettysburg stories. Okay, so you had the creepy dude to your right. Who had the
and okay.
voice.
As I said, that we had gone shopping that day, and I picked up that book. And okay, when did that? So this had to be. When did the movie Gettysburg come out? Do you remember? 93?
Yeah, it would have been about the time Boy Child 1.0 was around. So
okay,
yeah.
While they were filming, people were asked not to come to Gettysburg that summer because they were doing the filming.
Right.
So okay, I'd gotten this book, and I just, when I go to those bookstores, I just pick them up. You know, I don't necessarily read them, but I pick them up. So anyway, we get back to our room, and she's taking a shower because the storm's coming up. So she's in there hurrying up, getting a shower, and I'm reading this Mark Nesbitt book, and it was describing some of the actors that were actually camped out there. They saw and heard, like they saw the lights and they heard the drums, exactly what we were seeing and hearing, and that freaked me out more than the guy did. I mean, that was like, okay, that validated what we saw and heard. So
yeah, because you had multiple senses playing havoc with you in that situation.
Yeah, that was a weird thing.
And at depth too. I mean, like with my dude, I didn't hear anything. He didn't make any noise. It was there and then it wasn't in a confined area. But when you're hearing drumming in the distance and then seeing flashes in the distance, that adds depth to it. And then a dude standing right next to you that wasn't there before. You know, that's multi-layered. That's freaky deaky.
Well, a couple years before that, I had gone up just overnight or something, and I decided to walk Pickett's Charge. Now, with my families, my mom's side was from Pennsylvania. My father's side was from Virginia. So actually, both sides of my family were there fighting on each other's, the other side.
Mm-hmm.
So it was before planning, and I decided I really want the experience to walk where my ancestors or whatever walked. But I had a recorder going, and it was a beautiful day. It was actually a lovely day, and there was like the wind, and you can hear the birds singing and stuff. But underneath of that, you could hear the drum beats, how they were. And I thought, well, maybe I'm going nuts. So when I get back home, I had my ex listen to it. I had some people at work listen to it, not saying what anything. What do you hear? Tell me what you hear. We hear drums. So that was the first ever EVP I ever picked up there. And that was a couple years before my girlfriend and I decided to go up.
Interesting.
Yeah, but I've seen things. one of the things I think I told you, EW, is when my kids were small. They were still in grade school. And we went up for my birthday. And we were at Little Round Top. And I had my sons, a friend of theirs, and my daughter. And, of course, the boys decide to go off. And I'm freaking out. I can't find them anywhere. I'm getting ready to call a park ranger. So up at Little Round Top, it goes around and it comes down. It goes down to the left, and then there's a stop sign. And then you could turn right to get out of the park, or go left to get deeper. So we're down there, and they come out at the far end of the woods, and I'm just like, what the heck are you doing? My son told me, he said, Mommy, there was a man on a horse. He described the uniform, and it was a Union captain or something. Now, he had no idea about any of this at all.
How old was he?
He was in elementary school. He had to be, I would say maybe 7 or 8, something like
so
that.
He's a young dude, so he wouldn't. Yeah.
He had no idea of what they look like, but he said a man on a horse told me what he looked like. He said he let us out and showed us the way out.
Interesting.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
See, the people I hang out with, we're a different breed.
Apparently yours just go straight up.
Yeah, I didn't hang out with that dude. I led the scene like the ghost in the chicken. I did my best Don Knotts impersonation and took off. No, the people I hang out with, they're at my level, so they're not all in the game. The Legend of the Blue Boy at the nearby Gettysburg College.
Yeah, orphanage. Yeah, was it the orphanage?
It was the college. It was the dorms.
Oh, okay.
Because it was a sister had her young brother smuggled in her room, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But they would get in trouble, obviously, if there was people that weren't supposed to be there. So she, when the den mother or whatever would come around to house check or room check, she made her brother climb out the window and stand on the little ledge. It was a super cold night, and as the story goes, he froze. He was out there. She couldn't let him back in, and he was out there, and he froze. So they say at a certain dormitory room or whatever that late at night you can see frost on the window, and he taps on the window and whatever and writes a message in the frost with his finger.
Yeah, help me or something.
Yeah,
yeah.
And exactly. And my dumb butocked buddy, we were watching a special on it and goes, look at it, man, he's writing a message. He's writing it's help me. He's writing it the other way. Read it.
He's watched too much of The Shining.
Yeah.
Right?
Mpla.
Okay. I have to
that's cool.
Yeah, I have to ask, what do you guys think about pictures that are a mist? I mean, there's a lot of images that come up, and this is out of Gettysburg as well. There's a lot of images that come up of mist.
Of course.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know where I would hold them at right now, because if I'm not seeing it with my eye, then obviously it's.
Well, it kind of looks like a screaming frog. There's the two eyes there and a big mouth going, ah.
Yeah.
No, I see a soldier.
One of the way that or playing frog.
This is why you are a professional paranormal researcher and investigator. I'm like, I see a frog. It's a jumping frog with its arms out.
No. You could actually see his head, and he looks like he's got something over his shoulder.
Well, here, okay, EW, move the cursor. See, move it right there. That's a big mouth. See the big mouth? The circle here in the middle. No, that's
a wide mouth frog.
And there's the two eyes on either side.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying now.
And then the arms are out. It's jumping at
but
you.
This
a
guy
frog.
looks like he's holding a gun.
Like a jumping frog.
Yeah.
It's a frog ghost.
Yeah.
Because you know that people speed through there, and poor little frogs trying to get across the road.
Oh, we were there one time. It was actually that was part of during the day, and there were all these woolly bear caterpillars out on the ground. Unfortunately, we couldn't go around them, and I was like, I'm running over them, almost crying. I don't want to kill the little woolly bears, but they were everywhere.
Yeah, that's what they do. They're expendable. There's 1,000 of them.
They were. They were literally all over the road.
And 900 of them sacrifice themselves so the other 100 can make it across the street. So
right.
I don't like running over anything.
Part of their union. So
we've talked in the past, Greg, where you've actually mentioned it, where it annoys you when somebody does an EVP. And then, they're saying, I think this is what they said. You tell me, isn't this what they... And then it's like, well, how the hell am I supposed to know? What do you think about pictures when people decide to circle them and tell you, this is where they are?
Yeah, sometimes it helps. My real pet peeve, I don't mind if you circle an image because that's a pretty wide open picture. So like the one dude there probably would have looked right past. That I don't mind. I have trouble with the EVPs where they type out on the screen what it says. Because all you hear is like, blah, 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 blah. Like, I want a turkey sandwich. Did you hear that? It's like, where the hell did you get that from? But my favorite pet peeve, and you know who I'm about to talk about. I won't even talk about it because you and I already know.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
No. I pissed it. It's the only guest I've ever pissed off on all my years of doing a radio and TV that left during the show because I pissed him off so badly.
Yep.
I told him if the only evidence he can come up with, and he was a big time producer with a really good show. I said, if the only evidence you can come up with at the end of your show is an orb that you have to circle with another orb to show me that orb, then you found nothing on that investigation. Just give it up. Just say you found nothing. You can't have an orb and then circle that orb with another circle to make it a double orb to say, did you see that orb? No, you can't. That's you're desperate. You're desperate.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now see, I see a
that looks
female.
like a girl.
Yeah, a female with the beautiful, luxurious hair. What's she do with her hair? That's beautiful. I like that. But it looks like she's wearing a puffy shirt with the shoulders pointed out and whatever. So
yeah.
But
see, a lot of those things are just matrixing. You just see them.
Right. You can go into somebody's room, and if they have wallpaper, you can just stare at the wallpaper and go, "Oh, look at that face! Look at that." We do it with clouds.
Well, we do that with pets as well because we're like, "Oh, is that pet smiling?" And technically, scientists claim, no, pets don't smile.
Oh, poop!
Do
you always believe science? No.
I don't.
My dog smiles.
Who are these scientists? Why are they anti-happiness?
Yes. I get
humbug.
Yeah. Yeah, my goldfish smile. I know that, damn it.
So I don't know if we need to circle this one for you to see it. But this is one of those ones. See, remember, I always talk about when you get the pictures, you have to be skeptical right away or be a believer. I don't know which ones people are, but you tell me. Are you a believer?
No.
Oh, no. Come on. Seriously?
If I can, and I'm pretty bad at it. If I know how to Photoshop that, no. and I assume that's how he died, from standing in front of the cannon?
Yeah, I would have to guess.
Billy, look behind it. Billy, behind it.
If you look carefully, he is hanging his head, so he's probably thinking, I should have never ate those cherries.
Yeah. And
at least you shouldn't have worn white.
Yeah, no one talks about the man in white.
Yeah, he's wearing the brown pants. Yeah. Now, I will go with the Matrix scene as a very common factor when it comes to imaging for, especially when they're doing paranormal imaging. One of my favorite ones, and I don't have it saved right now. I would have to go and look it up. But they actually have an image of an orb, like Greg was talking, and then they were like, look carefully, you can see the eyes and the mouth. And then they actually had to draw it in so you could actually see it. And I'm like, really? It don't work that way. You can't do that. I am at a point now where I will question orbs.
I'm not a big orb fan.
I'm not either.
I think orbs were the best thing that was ever invented for any paranormal TV show. So that at the end of the show, if you have nothing, you can always find an orb.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And it shoots out of his ear, and
yeah,
Sure, darling.
Your ear. No. Okay, so
I like the shows that when I'm not going to mention any names. When somebody towards the end of the show, because nothing's happening, goes
Sonic the Hedgehog, EW.
I got a pain in my neck. Oh, my arm just went dead. And then they go, watch carefully. And the little orb goes into his elbow. Obviously, it was a ghost orb attack. I hate when that happens. When orbs attack.
I won't mention names, but if you go back on a couple of shows, even all the way to Blog Talk, we did do several shows on paranormal drama. And there was one particular team that was never allowed to wear white socks because they would look like orbs on camera. I wanted to know who the hell was standing on their head to be able to show their socks off while the camera was being taken, while the picture was being taken.
How stupid can you get?
Apparently, some people, the drama in the paranormal fields can be pretty intense. Look, if I sit back and I criticize a paranormal team, like I'll give you an example. When we first started paranormal, we were criticized by a team that started a radio station that later shut down. And sadly, I can only say this much. You guys know who they are. They attacked us the very first night we were on the air. You remember MJ, don't you, Greg?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, she was.
That's exactly who they attacked right away.
Oh, because she was a superstar back then.
Yeah.
I don't know what she's doing. She's probably still a superstar, but she was a home run hitter. She was Miss Ratings. So
dude,
you're going to go after somebody.
They destroyed her.
That's why you always. I don't mean to brag or pat my own back. That's why you go the Greg Hall strategy. I got 4 fans, and nobody ever bothers me. Nobody ever comes after me. Nobody ever.
Yeah, I know.
My numbers. I got 4. I got 4. You're going to try to take my 4?
I still read the letter on a daily basis. You are not allowed to be a fan. And you know who the 4 fans are? One of them's my wife.
Yeah.
I'm not allowed, but my wife is. Yeah. I get hit him. Okay.
Yeah. So no, that's just a safer way to go. And it saves on Christmas cards. I only got 4 of them to mail out. It's much easier. People like MJ or like you guys, you get those home run hitters like Kalila Smith and whatever. They do their shows. They get thousands and thousands and thousands. And that's just too much responsibility for me. Keep it at 4 fans.
Yeah. There's a lot that you can get out there. Drama in the paranormal field is not uncommon. So it doesn't take much to upset them. Now, what I do love is shows like, well, they don't have it anymore, but Mythbusters or White Rabbit, those guys, they literally said, "Let me prove to you that's not real." So I don't mind stuff like that, because then you can help people understand. One day, though, I swear, one day I'm going to do a little YouTube movie of a spoof on everything people believe in the paranormal stuff, and make it kind of funny. I mean, I almost want to have the Bong brothers involved, because I could totally see
they've
it.
Seen some things,
right? I could totally see it, though. Dude, we're on TV.
Here's the dealio. Now you guys got me hyper and paranoid. And when I see, while you're just talking and we're joking back and forth, Annie all of a sudden go,
"Oh no, I just heard something from them."
Yeah, I'm sure you did.
Yeah,
now you got me freaked. And according to the way we're set up, you looked in my direction. So what did you see over here?
That? Actually,
you looked. That's in my direction on the screen.
Hi.
Yeah. He's looking like, huh?
Don't look over here, Annie. Don't. You're freaking me out.
No. Anyway.
Okay, see, this is what I think of when you say that with Annie, okay? We're not going to do it with sound anymore either, so, but you guys have to see this girl. She's a magician, believe it or not.
Stop it, Annie.
No, it's coming from the man cave.
So she doesn't talk, but you got to see. You see how she twitches her head?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I think of when you're talking about Annie. And oh my God, yeah, she used to pick on those people so bad. The magician's name is Rihanna, so you got to go and check her out. She will trip you out.
She made those judges disappear.
Oh yeah. She would pick on that lady in the middle every time. And in one of the episodes, she started crying, and I couldn't help but laugh.
That's mean to make somebody
cry. Those people are the ones who give you their score.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's more fun to. So. Mm-hmm.
I just keep hearing something from the man.
So when Annie's doing it,
wondering if Walter got out.
Oh, okay, no. If Walter makes it on the screen, I am gone.
Hey, Tom.
Who's Walter?
Walter's my husband's snake. I think he's a ball python, taller than me now. I mean, he's longer than I am. I'm about 5'3", so yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Every now and then you hear a bang or something, and that means he's gotten out of his the aquarium.
So you're right, EW. It is running late. We should go.
Exactly.
Oh, you are.
2 words. Hell no. I don't do snakes.
I have a question.
Okay.
Have you ever thought of in a ghost perspective? Okay, so all these people go out there with their recorders and stuff, and do you know you're dead? How did you die? Blah 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 blah. All these questions. And can you just imagine what the ghosts are actually thinking? God darn, not this question again.
Right? Yeah.
Have you ever thought about that?
One of my favorite. Yeah, I mean, I have thought about that. Just like they just got to be like, shut up, whatever. Why are you still alive?
There you go.
Is there anybody out there who would like to speak to me?
No.
Yeah. Am I alone? More than you know. No, one of the best stories I've ever heard, and comics mind works a little different than a lot of people's, I guess. Old buddy of mine was telling me that when she was on an investigation, it was her and her friend, a team investigating, and her friend, while she was looking in one area, her friend was in a different part of the room, and had to use the bathroom.
Oh my.
And then left to go find a bathroom. So my friend turned around and her partner was gone. And she was had her EVP session going on at the time and said, "Where did you go?" And when she played back the thing later, a voice said, "She went to pee."
Yes, I remember that one.
and she was saying, "It was the best EVP I ever got." And what the hell? That's the best one you ever got in your entire history of paranormal, investigation. But it was clear, and she played it. It was clear as day. She went to pee. And I said, could you imagine the ghosts on the other side sitting around Melvin? It's got to be a ghost named Melvin. And they have so much to tell us, and they have to suck up so much energy to be able to communicate with us and steal from batteries and lights and cold spots. And they finally get all this information together to share the secrets of the universe. And Melvin goes, "She has to pee." Melvin! You just wasted all our energy. What are you doing?
Yeah. If I
and it's another thing. They talk like yelling and like they're deaf or something.
Yeah.
Or the other thing that really irritates me. Okay, they're in this old place and they're cussing like sailors. It's like, you never cussed like that back then in that time. Don't talk to them like that.
Yeah.
How dare you? I'm just really sensitive about stuff like that. But, geez. Little respect, please.
What do you think about the art of, you see it all the time on shows, I guess they call it provoking, like you're talking about, where some guy thinks he's a badass. He's alone in the basement going, "Get out here now. I want to see you. You better answer me."
I know a particular group who does that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's one
very stupidly, of course.
Yeah, it used to be on TV all the time. One group that I know that used to do it, but a couple others still do it. I understand. I understand maybe just challenging something, but I always think, what if there's just nothing there and you're chewing out a basement?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I hope so, because they act like
two houses over. What if the ghost is 2 houses over? You missed it, and you're standing there yelling at a water heater. "I will kick your butt." A water heater.
See, Greg, now you make me want to see if we can get that one particular guest on. I forgot her actual name, but she was called the Sex Psychic.
Oh, we need to get her on.
Oh, yeah. You know what, though?
Gotta be good.
Here's the thing. I will tell you this.
Yeah.
And,
boy, did he get her going.
I will tell you this, and it's actually, I got a hats off to her. When I came back with the Funky Werepig after, taking the 10-year vacation, just bringing the Funky Werepig back, she was actually one of the first people I looked up to see if I could get back on the show, because that was one of the best shows I ever did, and one of the best times I ever had interviewing someone. She has turned a corner. She no longer does that. But she's into beautiful spiritual healing. She was always cool and groovy and a beautiful person. She has just turned it all into this beautiful positive energy and whatever. So I still want to have her on the show, but I do miss talking about the reading she could give certain areas of my body.
All I got to say, folks, is go to the archives button on the TMV Cafe website. Just look up Sex Psychic. It was Adrian.
Let's not mention any names. She's moved on to a better place.
Okay.
I don't think she wants to talk about the former whatever.
Hey,
but
we missed a word. We missed a word. Celebrity sex.
Yes.
Psychic.
Well, yeah, I was no celebrity, but she read me. That was nice. That was she had the unique power as a psychic that could, let's just I'm going to say this word, because I think it's going to be the best word that I can think of.
You want me to mute? I can.
No.
Annie, you want to laugh?
You actually have one of these.
He had a hard time saying certain words on the show with her.
I was trying to keep it on the low, because that's where they're located. She was a psychic who could literally hear and talk to genitalia.
Yep.
So she was hired by many Hollywood celebrities who might not have had situations that they were happy with. So they would call her in, and she would talk to a winky or a hoo-ha to find out what was wrong.
And you should hear him asking these questions.
Oh,
I have to listen to this.
Oh my God, it was a great show.
That she was saying when she was a little kid, she first realized she had this power. And I was like,
that's a unique.
That's a very specific skill set. That's
I mean, you know,
that specific skill set.
I don't. How would you even put that on your resume?
Well, she made a lot of money doing it. It was there's so many replies I can give to that. I'm not going to give any of them. How do you, as a younger person, and girls too, Sarah, actually, you know.
Yeah, and it's real. It's not like we're making jokes about it. It was real.
Yeah, I mean the people that she would drop the names of that were celebrities that would, and actually most of her clients were females that said, my hoo-ha and I aren't getting along right now. Could you please talk to it?
No, she would. Okay, so the next part was, and she would tell them to visit the urologist or gynecologist.
Well,
only when there was some transmitted problems. How about we put it like that?
Well, yeah, I mean, but that you should be able to figure out without a psychic. I mean, that's
right.
Really?
You know,
it burns when I go to the bathroom. What'd you eat? Oh, it was just a couple of ghost peppers. That's all. Okay.
Yeah. Shouldn't have picked up that random hobo. You know, those kind of things, but yeah, no, it was very interesting. It was very cool, and she had given me some great news, which I immediately threw my headphones off and yelled into my wife to the other room.
Yeah, it was the end of the show really fast.
So yeah, no, she was awesome. She was very cool, but she's doing other things now, and I will say bringing far more happiness to the world, I think, than that specific skill set. So that's.
Well, and I will say we're in a time now where there is so much negativity, so many problems, so many things people got to throw their hands out and blame this or blame that or see funny hand symbols, you know. I mean, it gets ugly. And we need a world where we can throw some positivity in and kind of change that tune and just be done with, you know, this is a problem or that's a problem, you know, and that's why we are going to have some positive guests coming on.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta have those mojo people that are bringing, especially now, bringing the good stuff in, because, you know, with her old skill set, it doesn't matter right now. I mean, I look down every morning and go, "You're not happy? Oh, you're not happy." Let me tell you what happy is. You know?
Okay, the only time I could think a guy would do that is when he has to squat to pee.
No, I just wake up every morning that way. I yell at everything. Then I go to the coffee maker, and what's your problem? So I yell at everything in the morning.
I yell at something. It's a box that has this particular name. I won't say her name, and sometimes doesn't listen. It comes from the Amazon company.
I'm tagging out of this one. There's no good. Nothing good is going to come out of any of us guessing this answer.
Oh, no, it's easy. It's an Echo box, but I won't say the particular wake-up name.
Oh, because she'd
wake up.
Because she's literally sitting. I've got one.
Oh, it's like a Furby.
Oh my God. Oh God.
What?
Okay. What? Let me talk about haunted items. Oh, by the way,
my Furby. I got like a bunch of them.
we have coming up very soon Kevin Kane coming back, the haunted doll collector. And we will be doing it on video. And he is going to try to bring one of his dolls that you have to watch, because there's a couple of dolls that in a couple of videos did move.
Mm-hmm.
So this time, instead of hearing about it, you're going to get to see it.
Oh. Anyway, I do have Furbies.
Well, now that was what I was going to talk about. I went to a what do you call it?
It's incurable.
Not an antique store, but what are those where they sell a bunch of
things?
Yeah.
A thrift store?
I guess a thrift store would be
Goodwill or something?
No, because it
was
somebody's store, but they'd inherited a bunch of stuff and they were selling it.
Oh, like an estate sale.
Exactly. And so as I was walking through, I saw a Furby and I picked it up and the doggone thing started talking. And I thought, oh, I forgot about these. She goes, there's no batteries in it. Sadly to say, Furby went flying.
Annie, have you learned your lesson?
Oh, you want to? Well, no.
Don't.
I love my Furbies. They don't have batteries in them. They haven't talked.
Do you remember the one doll that kind of looked like the little sand people that in Star Wars, they had the little hoods and you never understood a word they said?
Or whatever they were?
Was that what they were called? But they have no, the smaller ones.
Oh.
Yeah, they would just collect all the machine parts and stuff. And then they had a little doll, little stuffed animal like that where you could see, the hood over their face, and they just had these little glowing eyes. And then if they were motion censored, and if you would move your hand, the eyes would glow and you'd hear, dude, I ran into a couple of those that worked without batteries also. So this actually brought up a point one day. I was talking to a couple of investigators. One of them said, we can actually put off our own energy to create energy enough to make those respond. Now, this is partially true because we pick up static electricity all the time. How many times have you been zapped getting out of your car? When you go to get out, you touch the door and you get zapped.
I blew up a fax machine like that.
Well, I've heard of people who have actually drained watches from their energy from their body would literally drain watches. They could not wear a watch. No matter what watch they put on, it would literally, the energy would be drained out of it. So it is physically, humanly possible to drain energy and kind of put off energy. But would there be enough energy to create these things to respond? I don't think so.
Did you say you blew up a fax machine or something?
I did hear that.
I actually did. I was working in this place, and it was wintertime. You know how they have the heat on and everything you touch. You walk across the floor and you go zzz. I got up from my desk, walked over to the fax machine, went to touch it, and went pfft.
And the guy next to it says, "You see my stapler?"
I'm sorry, I never watched that show, but I knew what you're talking about.
Annie, are you like in a rolling chair or just a stable chair?
No, it rolls. It's my new chair.
Can you roll to your left?
Roll to your left.
Yeah, just get further away from me. Thank you. That's good. No, you can still peek in, but just.
Oh, thanks a lot. Jeez.
You blow up things. You blow up mechanical things when you touch them. You have a snake in the other room, and you're surrounded by Furbies. Just.
I also collect Funko things. My daughter sent me Hannibal Lecter.
You're too close again.
Yeah, I'm starting to worry. If she starts going...
Oh, I won't do that.
No. And as Evie mentions, Uncle Fester with the light bulb in the mouth, that's actually a magic trick that I used to be able to do. I don't even have the prop anymore, but I used to be able to light up a light bulb like that. So I know how it's done.
Well, you light up a room when you come in anyway.
Yeah, I do. I tell who to turn on the light. I just walk in, turn on the lights.
Take the compliment. Damn.
Don't they laugh when no one's in the room? Wasn't that the thing a couple years ago?
Yeah, as soon as I leave, everybody laughs. Yeah.
No, the thing that the thing you're talking about. They had that problem a couple years ago because people, the owners of them, would hear them laughing. Like they would be in your living room, you'd be eating dinner in the kitchen, and you hear laughter.
They're triggered by motion. So actually, I knew a paranormal team who would literally set these up in certain rooms.
It's okay to detect things, but don't start laughing.
Hey, if it starts laughing, you know something just walked by. I don't know. If you want to see some interesting things similar to that, there's a show called Evil.
That's what I was thinking about when you were talking about that thing.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Isn't that a great show?
Yes, I'm not finished with the first season, and I saw
won't tell you anything then.
Yeah.
Oh, have you got to the Christmas thing yet?
I remember the Halloween one. I think that was the last one I watched.
Okay, well, when you watch that one, you give me a call and tell me what you think. It's a Christmas one.
Okay. Well, it's probably one of the next episodes because I'm not that far off. But yeah, if you want to see a show that kind of delves in the paranormal / like spiritual and with the debunking parts, you got to watch this.
That is a great show.
And where is that? Is that like on the Hulu?
Actually, it's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix right now, but it airs on CBS.
Yeah, so, I actually bought the season on because we have Fios, so Verizon Fios, and I had already bought the season off of them, and then it comes out on Netflix, of course.
There's a particular episode where one of the guys who's the mechanical debunker is following a paranormal team. I guarantee you, if you know which teams I'm talking about, this one hit it spot on.
Yeah, that's what exactly I was thinking about when you were talking about that thing.
And so, but they actually showed something about a spirit that comes at them that blew me away. I never thought about this, but it is a very big possibility, and how some of the teams possibly are doing it. Don't know. Throwing my hands up, saying it's a possibility, but knowing that it is out there and it could be done.
Very interesting.
I will say that I do have to leave soon. It's going to be my bedtime.
Oh, I do too, because I haven't even eaten dinner yet.
Not that I'm going to sleep now.
This is the guy that told us keep going, didn't he?
I did, we did. We added a bonus hour.
Yeah. So, and we haven't had 2 hours in a while, so.
Yeah, we haven't. Greg, I wanted to tell you something about that cake from last week. Let me tell you, that was, after we got finished, it's like, and I was hungry, I'm going to have a piece of cake. That was the most god-awful cake I have ever eaten.
You got lucky.
It ended up in the trash.
You got lucky.
The sprinkle sparkle cake.
The sprinkle sparkle cake. It was horrible.
Well, thank you for making me feel better. Well, I know as soon as I sign out and it's just you and EW, you're going to go, it was delicious. Oh my God.
No, it was disgusting.
Actually, Greg, I will
lie to you.
I will show you a picture next week, because next Friday is a special day that I will be making a cake for, and we'll see what you think.
Next week's your birthday.
Yeah, we don't know what we're going to do for the show, but
I know. I don't know what we're doing.
Yeah. Well, we'll figure it out, and so we can tell everyone. But I do want everyone to know guests are lining up. We are going to set everything up, including getting ZZ back.
That man.
Yeah. The one that's afraid of you for blowing stuff up. Yes.
That was just, it was really weird. It was a floor distributor. You can actually get tile that's anti-static. You know that flooring that's anti-static.
I want to make
sure. Do they have it? No.
I want to make sure that eventually we get Maggie in here.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So I have to thank you two guys.
And Maggie will fully admit on the air that she stole that Pokemon.
I knew it.
Did you think? Pokemon,
I knew it.
Yeah.
Well, I'll send her. When did you want her?
I don't know. We'll talk about that when we go off.
Oh well, I'm gonna leave when we all leave because I haven't eaten anything since, gosh, like 1 o'clock today.
Yeah.
Mm.
So,
well,
can I say very fast? The Funky Wear Pig Halloween show is coming up right before Halloween, the Thursday before Halloween, and you should get these people as well down the road when you're lining up guests. On my Halloween show, I have both Kalila Smith,
yes,
and I have Bobby Style.
You got Bobby.
How is Bobby?
We will find out. We will find out. He's doing
I
great,
love Bobby.
I have both of them. Kalila is like the psychic guru of New Orleans. So we're going to talk vampires and voodoo and a whole lot of other scary V words, I'm sure. And then we got Bobby. Bobby's going to jam out for us. So
he is so
I'm looking
cool.
forward to it. Yeah, he's awesome. He's a good dude. So
yeah. So real quick, I want to mention that again. Check out the Funky Wear Pig because I know on the 20th there is a very special episode coming out with ZZ, that nice big floating head.
Is that when that comes up next?
Yeah, he posted it. I wanted to make sure I promoted that for it too. Go make sure you check out the Funky Wear Pig on YouTube. Fun show. And next week, tune in because we don't know exactly what's happening. And very soon, Free Pie Night will be back on the air. And we're going to be doing video versions. So on that note, folks, we're going to wish you good night.
Good night, everybody.
Make sure you click subscribe and the little bell so you know when we're back on. Bye-bye.
Thanks for having me, guys.